Hey guys, Tom61, and today we have a review of the all-new Tier 7 campaign reward ship, the Friesland, or at least one of the campaign reward ships. As always, we're going to go over the stats, go over consumables, commander builds, the mods, all that fun stuff, show off a fantastic game, one that we do very well. We end up doing 3,400 in XP. It's a good game. Anyways, with all that said, of course, this is the Friesland, one of the two choices for the campaign reward ships this time's out. You have this or you have the Loyang. Loyang, of course, we'll have a review on that a little bit later in the week. But with all of that said, let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and dive on into the stats. And first things first, let's go ahead and take a look at the commander build. And we are using, well, the only choice you have, and that's Jerzy Swirsky, because of course Friesland is a pan-European destroyer. She is from the Netherlands. She's a Dutch destroyer by trade, but it's grouped in to the pan-European ships as far as a build goes for Jerzy Swirsky. A little bit different than my usual build for ships, but that's because this boat is a all-out gunboat, so therefore its skills are kind of more based in all-out gunboating. Anyways, of course, as the base trait, we have Hide and Seek, which is going to help with that concealment. We're also going to be running Eric Bay and Vincent Mordiff just to get just that little bit more of fire rate out of this ship. And then as far as the other skills go, Observant Rage. Usually I run Look at Me Now, but because this only has guns, I am in full-out gunboat mode with Mortar, then Perceptive, Smoke on the Water, and of course Unstoppable. And that is going to provide some pretty decent base level skills for this ship. As far as upgrades and mods go, well, in the first mod slot, I'm running Aiming Systems Mod 1. Then I'm running Steering Gear Mod 2. I did initially try out Propulsion Mod, and while that works just to kind of help you when you're in smoke, it already has pretty decent acceleration, and you'll want that little bit boost to steering speed when you end up finding yourself in open water and trying to dodge some shells. It does help once you're in that sort of situation. Then we're running Concealment Mod, and finally we're running the Main Battery Mod 3 just to help with that reload speed overall. As far as consumable goes, she does have a full rank of consumables. So, of course, there's the damage control party. 5-second duration on it with a 40-second reload. Nothing too special there. But now we start to get into the special things. First off, the smoke generator, which is, I think, one of the longest smokes in the game. Duration of, it's going to expel for 29.7 seconds. It's going to last 131 seconds, so over 2 minutes of being in smoke. Reload time is going to be 240 seconds, and you're going to get 2 of those charges. Sonar, the ship does also come with sonar. 3.1 kilometer detectability on those torpedoes, 4.4 detection on ships. So you're not going to be outranging German sonar, but having sonar on this ship is definitely a plus, and it makes you competitive, especially with things like Lightning and pretty much any of the other gunboats, because most other gunboats don't have sonar. So be on the lookout for this thing. Engine boost is going to be the last of the consumables. 8% boost to your maximum speed, 120-second duration, 180-second reload time, and 2 of the consumables. As far as the stats go, let's just go ahead and dive on in, because this is definitely an interesting ship when it comes to the stats. So first things first, HP 17,600 with an armor thickness between 6 and 20 millimeters. We'll go ahead and just throw up that armor view. You can see nothing really special, 20 millimeter bow and everything, and then up in the superstructure, you're looking at 13. Pretty much anything is going to punch right on through you. There is no torpedo reduction, so you don't really have to worry about that. Main battery, two-barreled 120 millimeter Bofors cannons that absolutely shred. Firing range on them, 10.9 kilometers with reload time of 1.4 seconds. Just watch this upcoming clip right here. We're going to end up taking out both this Massachusetts and the Scharnhorst, and just look at what these guns can do. Shells per minute with that 1.4 second reload time we have with our current build, 171 rounds per minute, which is absolutely insane, and is closer to something you would almost see in Call of Duty when it comes to like the slower firing guns. 180 time, 8.3 seconds. HE damage, thanks to mortar, 1925, well, or 1,925, giving us a DPM of 329,175 and an 8% chance to set fire. This thing absolutely shreds. AP damage, 2,310, giving you 395,000 damage per minute. It is absolutely insane. If you can get your AP to pen, this thing absolutely just chunks and melts people like butter. Just that quick damage over time is just absolutely disgusting. Now, what are you doing to get these great guns? Well, you don't have any torpedoes. You're a destroyer that does not have torpedoes, and also you don't have secondaries. You do have AA. You have a 5.2 kilometer range on your AA, which is very, very strong. 122 minimum damage, and that goes up to 286, which is very respectable for a DD. That is a very good anti-air platform as far as comparing to the rest of the destroyers out there. Max speed of the vessel, 36 knots with a turning radius of 620 meters and a rudder shift time of 3.6 seconds. Detectability by sea, 5.9 kilometers. Detectability by air, 3.2. And finally, detectability in smoke, 2.6. And that is the stats of this vessel. As far as the history of this vessel, it's a mid-50s Cold War destroyer, and so it doesn't really have very much of an operational history. Instead, well, it's built to be an anti-submarine destroyer for the Dutch, and yeah, there was a couple of them in its class, and it never really did anything of exciting note, because of course during that era, it's more about deterrence rather than action, and I guess it did technically deter, so that's good. But with all that said, now let's go ahead and dive on into a game with the Friesland. So here we are on the map Shards with a domination game, and I'm in what I think would be the best spawn for Friesland. Friesland excels at being an aggressive destroyer, and that's just what we'll be. Now, optimally, we would have mirrored spawns, so for me, I'm kind of hoping on the fact that the enemy destroyer is going to be straight across from me in B, and that's kind of what I'm angling for at this moment. I'm going to go ahead, get into B, try to get that cover behind the island. If I get spotted, pop the radar, pop the sonar. We have, or pop the sonar and pop smoke, and we will hopefully be able to take out. Of course, we have killer guns, and that's what the Friesland is all about, these guns. The one thing that I was not expecting about them is just how powerful the AP is. We're going to see an excellent use of that AP here, but right now we're seeing Kansas was one on the other side. Relative short range on these guns, so that is one thing that is very nice because it kind of keeps you out of trouble, because you can very much segment yourself onto one or two targets, only have them really be the ones that are spotting you. If you can eliminate them, then you don't really need to worry. But at this point, we go ahead and see that Gascon is going to be pulling out right there, and that we're not going to be really contested on the cap. We're going to go ahead and pop the smoke. We're in this beautiful central location. We have some of the longest lasting smoke in the game. We can see it's still over 2 minutes at this point, and we just switch on over to that AP, and look at how that AP is tearing up the Gascon right there. These shells fly in every second and a half, really, and we can see we're already up to 21,000 damage, and there's no kind of end that is near for us. We do also now see we have a cruiser coming in. It's the Southern Dragon. Flip over to HE because he looks just enough angled where that AP isn't going to be quite effective. He goes ahead, turns out, and then just goes ahead and starts to give us enough broadside that we can go ahead and start farming the side of him. We're getting little shadows here, but now we're starting to get those pens, and we can go ahead, try to find his citadel. Unfortunately, I don't think we end up having the pen in order to find the citadel of the Southern Dragon. And I have to say, one of the things I was worried about with Friesland was going to be the lack of having torpedoes. Of course, torpedoes are kind of the what makes a destroyer, right? That is the thing that makes you fear them. But I think the AP on this more than makes up for that lack of torpedoes, because what this allows you to do is, if you can get in the same positions that you would have been in that would have gotten you those excellent torpedo runs, look at the sort of damage we're doing on battleships and cruisers that are broadside to us, right? We're doing the kind of damage that you would expect to see from torpedoes. Yes, it will be over a length of time, and they know where we're firing at, and they could potentially angle against us. But if we can get into those good, what would usually be torpedo laying positions, we can absolutely decimate the enemy ships. And as we saw right there, Gascon and Southern Dragon, both down 63,000 damage done so far. Both of them eliminated, and now we have the Kansas. And the one thing we know about the Kansas is its side plating, not exactly the thickest, which means we should be able to go ahead and rack up some full pen damage on the Kansas, and that's just what we'll do. And beautifully, he is full broadside to us, and look at that. We're getting 1,500 damage, salvo 700, 1,500. It's doing real well. We'll go ahead and retreat into the smoke. Sadly, the smoke is about to give up on us, so we're going to go ahead and pop it forward, I believe, right here. Maybe throw on that engine booster because we need to get on out of here. And this is one of the nice things. The ship does go ahead and kind of get moving relatively quickly. We take a massive hit there. I do have to say the new sound system is definitely improved, the new sound engine in the game. The hits do sound somewhat different. I'm not 100% sure if I'm fully in love, but I am quite enjoying them. But we can see, even now, we are just chunking away at that Kansas up to 90,000 damage. Of course, we've taken B, and at this point, we kind of need to make our call. What side of the map do we go to? There are 3 ships down at A, and they do have C currently captured. Kansas is going broadside in front of one of our ships right now, so we can expect him to not last very long. We know up top is a destroyer and a cruiser, which is more to our liking as far as targets go. So we go ahead and make the decision, you know what, at this point, it's far better for us to go up towards C rather than A. A down there, they still have all 3 of those ships together. We can go ahead, bully the Kansas with HE. Once we clear out the Kansas, push on in and try to help capture C, clear C, and get on our way. Kansas goes down right there, and we still have a little bit of time left on our engine boost, so we're going to go ahead and use that to get on over to C. As far as how I'm liking the Friesland compared to the Loyang, I know I haven't done the Loyang video yet. I definitely think I will be going with Friesland as far as my choice in this campaign. Of course, you can only choose one. You could choose to pay that 17,500 doubloons in order to transfer over and get Loyang once you complete the campaigns. But as far as right now, Friesland is definitely going to be my free one, and then I may just check the bank account to see if I want to go ahead and purchase Loyang at the end of all of this. But Kagero pops up right there. We do some beautiful damage to him, bringing us over 100,000. Cleveland now able to spot us because right there was one of those examples where the short range kind of played in our advantage. The Kagero was within our range while the Cleveland wasn't. So even though we were hitting those shots on the Kagero, Cleveland had no idea where we were. Cleveland now kind of starting to panic. We need to start maneuvering out at range because that is one of the things that can absolutely decimate us is that Cleveland. Thankfully, we get into the smoke. He doesn't know where we are anymore. Gneisenau's long range. We know we can do decently up against the Gneisenau's armor at medium ranges. At longer ranges, it's questionable with the AP, though we are going to try it. And as we can see, as we get those hits, we do start landing a couple of them into that superstructure, peppering away, which is exactly what we like to do. And he has just that little bit of health left, and sadly, we do not end up taking him down. But you know, we're close. We're close. He goes down, and now that he's clear, Cleveland is kind of cowering back there. We're gonna go ahead, try to get those rounds up and over. Kagero gets spotted, goes ahead, pops his smoke, which is our invitation to go ahead and push in. We do kind of want to head towards Kagero because, of course, that Cleveland is out behind that island. If he rounds the corner, we are going to be in a little bit of trouble, so we do want to get to cover. Once we get a little bit closer, we'll go ahead, pop the sonar right here. We see Kagero's torps off to the left right there, and we are now just waiting for that Kagero to pop up, 4.6 kilometers out. There he goes. He pops up. Front turrets engage. Rear turrets are swinging our derriere around, and there we go, hitting really decently right there. And that's just the thing that I am really enjoying about Friesland is its ability just to pump out the damage, especially when you need it. Cleveland right there, just trying to find where we can engage him. Shells on Friesland, relatively floaty as far as what I would compare it to. It is very much feeling like an American destroyer, and I quite enjoy the way that it feels. And at this point, we have to kind of choose. Do we want to immediately start heading towards A, or do we want to go ahead and cap C? Of course, our teammates will be capping C, but there's some free XP to be gained, and we're going to go ahead and get that XP. So we'll head on in to see. Our sonar will run out, unfortunately, while we're in there, but there's not really a sonar threat to be had. The one last cruiser on the enemy team is a New Orleans, not exactly a doesn't really have torpedoes that we have to worry about, so we don't really need to worry about that. And the other two battleships, of course, don't have sonar or smoke, so we really don't have any use for sonar. It's fine if we let it burn, but we do have this engine boost that will be about to come back online after its cooldown. So if we can go ahead and use that to our advantage, we absolutely will. Just going to go ahead and stop right here in the cap. And 4, 3, 2, 1, we've gunned it. And now it's time to go ahead and start hunting down the remainder of the ships. Fairly evenly matched so far, just because if it wasn't for us, the teams would be dead even matched as far as ship count goes. But we're going to try to do our duty as a destroyer, and that is to spot the enemies, because of course that is going to be the main duty that we need to serve. So we're going to go ahead and push towards B, and in theory their team should also probably be pushing towards B, as well, as that is the cap that is kind of in the middle, and therefore the one that is closest for them to go ahead and take. Richelieu much further up than we are, so we're not really able to engage, but we do end up spotting this New Orleans out here. Sadly, we don't have any smoke to really engage him with, but because of the way that New Orleans is traversing, we know he's now going to be spotted by the rest of our team. He just fired, so we can now just start to engage him. He's just at the edge of our engagement envelope. This is the dual-sided coin that you have to deal with Friesland, is that sometimes that short range engagement range makes it great, because if we engage this New Orleans, take him out, we'll drop spot and the battleships won't be able to shoot us. That's great. But when enemies get smart, when they realize you're going to be using island cover, they don't want to push in on you, it can get absolutely kind of tough to go ahead and engage these guys. And especially when you're at these longer ranges, we can see just how floaty is. Airtime on the shells, 8 seconds at max range, which is a fairly long time to have to kind of lead and figure out. But it does mean you get about 4 salvos in the air, which is absolute magic, because you'll fire at someone at long range as you're like going right behind island cover, and you have 4 or 5 salvos that are in the air if they're at max range. So even by the time you've passed behind the thing, you'll still get hits. It's satisfying. It's satisfying and enjoying, and that's one of the reasons why I've been absolutely enjoying the Friesland. Yes, you do end up missing the torpedoes on Friesland, but I think the guns, as we can see, more than make up for the lack of the lack of those torpedoes. New Orleans broadside to us. We're gonna go ahead and try out the AP, because he's so broadside. We see he has AP loaded, and this is what I was talking about earlier. We get good pens, and we pass behind the island, and we can see the hit counters just keep ticking up, because we have those shells in airtime, and we'll absolutely take that. Of course, our original plan was a spot for our team, but that New Orleans is just being such a juicy target that you can't pass it down in order to try and finish him off, and that's just what we'll do. He goes ahead, pops his airplane. That is one of the nice things about Friesland. Surprisingly strong AA for a destroyer. So if you are caught out by enemy carriers, you're not all is not lost. You do have a fairly substantial amount of AA that you can go ahead and rely on. But as we round this corner, we can see just how little health we left that New Orleans with. Only a few salvos to knock him down, and he's bounced with 1 pen, 2 pens, 3 pens, and just need 1 more. There we go. New Orleans down. We got 4 kills. Unfortunately, while there's 1 more ship and we do attempt to go for the Kraken, we're just not fast enough to get to the other side of the map with 2 minutes remaining in order to take down a majorative full health Synop. So, guys, that's the Friesland. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. If you liked the video, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.